Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, we're back to some chilly weather again. It was really nice the last couple of days. Back to some chilly weather. They're even predicting snow here in about a week here. I think this weekend, first of next week, we're supposed to get snow again. But it's the Ozarks, It's that time of the year. It's, it's bipolar. Can't make up its mind. This is another episode of Travis is going to make his listeners mad, at least some of you. But I think there's a lot going on with this because it's been very prominent news. I've said in the last couple of days that I felt that this may be some type of psyop. It's just doesn't set right. Something doesn't make sense. Some kind of distraction. Something going on bigger than what we're just being led to believe. And that's this whole tariff thing with Canada and Mexico and all of this kind of stuff. So yesterday it came out that both and the news is painting it this way. This is the thing, and I'll get into that aspect a little bit more here in a second. Why I think that it's just pure evidence that this is a psyop. There's some kind of distraction going on. But it came out yesterday that both Canada and Mexico seem to blink with the tariff thing that Donald Trump put 25% tariffs on their imports into this country. And very quickly it looked like they both choked and gave in, and Trump said that there would be a 30-day, stay put on the tariffs, that they was going to hold off for at least 30 days so that these certain agreements would take place, that they would do things to, secure their borders a little bit better, to fight against, illegals or fentanyl, coming across the border, that kind of stuff. And the mainstream news media, the social media, especially the Trump supporters, everyone is hailing this as a huge win. That Donald Trump showed everyone that this is how you do it. And leading up to yesterday, the markets were really starting to tank. They were not setting well with all of this tariff talk, that there were going to be tariffs on a lot of products. And of course it's, being said, well, that, the markets are saved. All of this talk of inflation of products and stuff it doesn't have to happen. All because, Donald Trump put his foot down and kind of bluffed them, and they choked, right? Well, what's interesting is since then it's come out that it's not exactly the truth. The truth is that apparently both Canada and Mexico went to Donald Trump and said, hey, these are the things that we've already agreed to do. There were certain agreements over the last few months that both countries made under the Biden administration, that they would work towards strengthening their borders, putting money and resources on their side to try to stop the flow of illegals or to stop the flow of illegal drugs and guns and all this kind of stuff. And so they basically said, this is what we've already agreed to. And Donald Trump seems to have said, okay, that's good enough, and we'll stop the tariffs. So there was not really a win. I mean, these were things that were agreements already in place, things that they were already working towards. So I'm trying to see where the win is. Really, truly, for the Trump administration, it almost looks like they're the ones that blinked and backed down. I know that's going to upset a lot of people, but Canada and Mexico aren't really doing anything more than that they already agreed to do under the Biden administration. So there's that. But here's the big thing, and I have been talking about this quite a bit. I've not really seen anyone else talk about this. And it's the thing it's that one piece of the puzzle that's just got me. The news media would know this too. The mainstream news media, that that supposedly hates Donald Trump, that wanted to rig elections and do all kinds, sway votes and everything just to keep him from getting into office. As of what I've seen so far, none of them have come out and pointed this out. They are also seemingly on this, wow, this is amazing. Trump stood his ground, drew his line in the sand, and they backed away when that's not what happened. In a way, it's Trump backed away because, like I said, these were agreements that were already made. They were already doing this or planning on doing these things. And Trump backed away. Just a day or two before the tariffs went into effect, Donald Trump was asked by a reporter in the White House that at that point, was there anything that Mexico or Canada could do to stop the tariffs? And his response was very quickly, no, there isn't. It's going to happen. There's massive trade deficits. There's massive debt in the United States, and they need to be we need to be recuperating that, and that there's nothing that's going to change. Nothing's going to stop this. And then within, a 24-hour period or so, the very thing that they had already agreed to do months ago is now what stopped it. I don't know. It seems strange, and it's strange that the mainstream media that supposedly hates him so much has not pointed that out, has not said, wait a minute, you didn't win. Canada and Mexico won. You're the one that backed off of this. I'm not saying that is exactly. It's just it's what it looks like that's going on, and because of not just because of what happened between Canada and Mexico and the United States, but with this key factor with the news media that's, at least so far, seems to be going along with this narrative and not pointing out that it doesn't make sense. That right there tells me that this is an orchestrated plan. This is something that is being manipulated, controlled, and done purposefully. It's not just happening, right? And because of that, it to me, I lean very heavily on that something is up, folks. Things are happening at probably a level, all this talk for the last few years of like 5D chess and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's definitely 5D chess being played at a level above any of our heads that pretty much all of us are not even in tune to. But it's not the same kind of 5D chess that you've been told. It's a 5D chess, I believe, to completely take everything over, to completely change what's going on, and to put certain people in powerful positions that are pretty much permanent, to destroy the republic, to even the democracy, as much as I hate to say that, and to establish a one world government. That's what's happening. That's the 5D chess, because this stuff, you don't get the news media that hates you with such vitriol over the last few years. We all know that. And even now they still kind of play this game that they still don't like Donald Trump, the big mainstream media. But yet they're not calling him out on things that aren't true, that could really damage his reputation. They're going along with stuff. It's just like the other day when I was saying how the media and everything is really, praising that, 1,000 illegals a day are being kicked out of the country, when, under the Biden administration, it was something like 1,500 a day. And under the Obama administration, it was something like 2,500 a day were being kicked out of the country. So it's, they're not pointing those things out. Something's going on, folks. Something's not making sense. Now, another player, and it's most likely this is all part of the plan and part of the game too, because of all of the people that Trump has seeming to speak heavily against, allies and adversaries. I mean, even Vladimir Putin, he's kind of praised him, but he's talked really, really tough against him, that, he's got to stop this war kind of thing. There's two countries and people that he has not spoken really anything bad against at all, but let's focus on the one right now. And that's China. He's not really saying much about China. And so now China is saying that they are implementing 10 and 15% tariffs on a lot of their exports. And I think that's a much bigger deal, because we get an immense amount of stuff from China. All of our medications. China controls nearly all of the world's rare earth mineral supply. They own and control massive amounts of metal and manufacturing, the raw materials to do the manufacturing, all kinds of stuff. Stuff that we really, really need. An argument could be made that a lot of the stuff that's imported in from Canada and Mexico that we could do without. Now, that's been said already in the last week or so. That, we can live without avocados. We don't need their dirty, oil. We just buy it because we're nice to them. We don't need their cars and manufacture. We'll just start doing it here, which we won't even go down that rabbit trail. But anyways, China's different. There's a lot of stuff that we need as a nation, technologically, manufacturing, medicine, all kinds of stuff that we absolutely have to survive, that you can only get it from China. And so China, they hold a lot bigger hand of cards when it comes to this game. And so they're now going to put tariffs on the United States on a lot of stuff. And we'll see how that happens. I mean, I think we need China every bit as much, if not more, than China needs us. China, yes, I understand they have all kinds of economic problems and all that kind of stuff, but China has been doing a very, very good job of building massive amounts of trade networks all over the world. And I believe it's specifically so that they can, at some point, if they have to, not have the United States. Yes, we're a huge, huge chunk of their money, but if they establish a lot of trade with other nations, it might maybe be able to make up for that, especially developing nations that's just buying massive amounts of stuff from them. And that's exactly what they're doing in Africa and India, down in Asian nations and stuff. So South America, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot more at play here. And I know you're going to hear over the next probably day or two of how amazing it is that, Trump showed the world, showed Canada and Mexico, and got them falling in line and doing his bidding. But that's not what happened, folks. Canada and Mexico, they didn't compromise at all. They said, hey, this is what we've already agreed to. You can't do that. I don't know what was said behind closed doors, but they said, this is what we've already agreed to. And Trump backed down and said, okay, after him saying himself that he was not going to do that for any reason whatsoever. So, and then the whole media not calling that out, the whole media supporting that Trump narrative. Something's up. You better keep your eyes open and be prepared. Get your houses in order, folks. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.